Good morning, friends. So, Money Mom just made a video about living in the Dallas, Texas area, the pros and cons. And she asked if some of us would like to join in a collab with her and talk a little bit about our hometown here. So, anyway, I would love to do that, and I'll get right to it. So I live near Cleveland, Ohio. It's a little town called Olmsted Falls, and I have a list here of the pros and cons of living here. All in all, I really love living here. In my neighborhood, it's quiet. It's a great place to go for walks. There's a lot of trees. There's woods around, and it's really a pleasant place to live. And the little town that I live in is actually, it has sort of an old-fashioned Thomas Kincaid sort of vibe going on. And it's like you took this little town that got stuck in time and you stick it in between these larger cities like Cleveland and Medina. And I really like living here. So let me tell you some of the pros of living here in this little town. And I have a list here, so I'm not going to remember them all unless I look at my list. So one of the things is it is a small town, it's small town living, but any direction that I go, north, south, east, west, it's a 10 to 20 minute drive to the city, to a big city. So I can be in Cleveland in 20 minutes. So that's a good thing. You know, you have the peace and quiet of a small town next to a city that has just about everything you need or want. So that's a pro. The housing is very affordable here. Just in this area of Ohio, the housing is very affordable. The rent isn't real high. You can afford a house if you have, let's say a $50,000 income a year. You could easily afford a house on that income. There are areas where they're very expensive to live and surrounded by some of the suburbs like Westlake, Rocky River. They have a lot of very expensive houses. But there's also smaller suburbs like Brook Park and Parma that the houses are much less expensive. So it's a very affordable area to live. There's a lot of available land here yet. So if you want to build your own house, you can do that still. And the land is reasonable as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? We live right by the metro parks, and if you live in Ohio, there's it's maintained by the state, and it goes all through Ohio, and it's called the Emerald Necklace, and the metro parks are part of that. You can go horseback riding down there, you can go hiking, biking, and it's really just 5 minutes from here. So that's a plus. You have that sort of activity available to you. We have a waterfalls in Olmsted Falls, ergo the name Olmsted Falls, and that's just a 5 minute drive down the street, and if I got real ambitious I could actually walk there. And it's a beautiful area, very peaceful and quiet, and I would like to include some clips of some of that's available around here. Food is still reasonably priced. It has gone up in the last couple years, I've noticed, but it's like that all over the country. So it's still reasonable here. You can easily live on $25 a week as a single person if you're frugal with your money. And so that's a plus. Lots and lots of retail stores. Like I said, 15-20 minutes in either direction of my house. is a shopping mall or a shopping center. There's thrift stores, there's department stores, there's discount stores, dollar stores, you name it, it's around here. So that's a plus. There's also within 10 minutes, pretty much in going south or west, there's still a lot of rural land. So if you want to go take a drive in the country, that's available too. Or if you like to bike, you can go out that way. So that's a big plus. Lots and lots of restaurants and bars. Again, in every direction from my house, there's a restaurant with a bar, or and it's very good for nightlife. So that's a plus. We have beautiful Lake Erie, and in the summer I spend almost every weekend on Lake Erie. We like to boat, so we spend a lot of time there at the marina. There's a beach there. You can get lots of beach glass there. I like to make beach glass jewelry. So that's available there too, and it's really a nice place to go. There's the Lake Erie Islands. They're not far either. There's Put-in-Bay, there's Kelly's Island, Middle Bass Island. There's a lot of little islands that you can go to by boat or ferry, and it's not that expensive. We even don't live far from Canada. You can go over to Pelee Island in a couple of hours in a boat. So that's a plus. There's a lot of things to do here in the summertime. Let's see what else. The public transportation is decent if you don't drive. You can, there's buses and there's rapid transits, and you can go, pretty much anywhere you want to go with those things. We have good schools here. Actually, it's one of the best in Ohio. So, but that leads me to one of the cons, and there's only a few cons really that I could come up with living here. And the taxes are higher, especially in this county where I live. Some of the other counties, like Lorain and Medina, they're a little less expensive with the taxes, but Cuyahoga County is more expensive with the taxes. So, but there again, maybe you get what you pay for, I don't know, but to me it's worth it to live here, to pay a little bit more in taxes. Another con of living here is the winter. The winter is very long and we get a lot of snow. Now, I don't live in the snow belt per se, but we get a lot of lake effect snow. When, depending on the direction that it comes in, we can get a lot of snow here. And the winters seem like they're extremely long. They start kind of earlier in the, later in the fall, and they go into spring. We can still get snow in April, which isn't uncommon, and even in May sometimes you can get some snow. It doesn't last, but that's a con for me. Unless you like winter, then it could be a pro for you, because we also have a lot of ski areas around here if you like winter sports. We have tobogganing not far from here. Personally, I don't like the winter, so for me that's a con. So another con is the growing season is very short compared to some areas. I believe we're in zone 5. So for gardeners, it's a little short for a growing season. And I don't know about the other states or where you live, but we have a turnpike near here, and we have highways, and there is always during the summer lots and lots of road construction. So you have the orange barrels no matter where you go. So that makes it a little difficult for traffic sometimes, especially during rush hour. It slows it down. So, and another thing, which could be either a pro or con, depending on if you like it or not, we have a lot of trains that come through the center of town. Now, we do have a couple of roads that if you want to avoid the trains, you can take those those routes. But if you like to watch the trains go by, that's an option too. So, and then we're not too far from the airport. Once in a while, it gets a little bit noisy from the planes, depending on the route they're taking. But normally, it's quiet around here. So anyway, those are the things, the pros and cons of living here in Ohio, where I live. And thanks, Money Mom, for putting this collab out there. And I will try and enclose some clips of where I live. And thanks for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time. See you next time. Love you guys, and thanks for watching.